a lot of times in the gym, you're going to see guys with bad posture. And one of the main reasons for this is because they do a lot of bench pressing. They do a lot of, incline benching, all of those movements, to build the chest up and the triceps. But you don't see as many issues with people who have, too big of a back. That's rarely ever an issue for people. So the people that have this issue where they're kind of tucked in like this, their shoulders are literally pulled forward because their chest is so shortened, they have a lot of issues that they need to fix. And this is one of the main things that's holding back their bench press. The other main thing to consider is, what is actually supporting you on the bench? Is it your chest? Is it your triceps? No, it's your upper back, your traps, and your lats. That's what's actually supporting you on the bench. So if you have a very weak upper back and it's not supporting you properly, you're not going to be able to bench big weights, unfortunately. So one thing that I try to have myself and my clients do is do as much back work as I'm doing pressing movements. So this could be a 1-to-1 ratio, or it could be even a 1-to-2 ratio. But essentially what you want to be doing is doing more work at the back than you are with, your pressing muscles, your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. You want to make sure that your upper back is as big as possible, because that is what's supporting you on the bench press. The other thing, a lot of people, they don't bench press correctly. They don't set up on the bench properly. Their elbows aren't in the right position. So one of the main things you need to focus on is arching your upper back, getting your shoulder blades tucked back like this, as opposed to just flopping on the bench like that. You want to make sure that every time you get in the bench, you're sitting the shoulders back, your scapula is retracted, and you're in this position. You're ready to go, essentially. If you aren't doing that, you're just flopping on the bench, you're going to miss out on a lot of the benefits of actually doing the bench press correctly, because most people out there aren't doing it properly whatsoever. So what I recommend is to actually train your barbell row, your dumbbell row, any kind of rowing movement, and trying to get it as strong as you possibly can to almost match up to your bench press strength. So if you're benching 200 pounds, you should be closing in on almost a 200-pound row. But again, it's not going to be exact. They're very different movements. So your goal is to just try to get your rowing movements in general as strong as possible, so that they're kind of slowly getting stronger along with your bench press strength. If your rows are not getting stronger and your bench press is, awesome, that's fine. But over time, you're going to want to build a bigger back. So doing higher reps, sets of 8 to 20 reps on average for your rowing movements and getting stronger at them, that's what you want to be doing. The bigger and more muscular your upper back and lats are, the more support you're going to have on the bench press. Also, the bigger your back is in general, the less distance the bar is going to have to travel when you're actually benching. Here's something that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. The biggest bench presses in the world, those that can bench over 500, 600, even 700 pounds, have the biggest arms. Guys like Larry Wheels can bench over 675 pounds, and it looks like a paperweight sometimes. So for those that are trying to build a bigger bench press, you need to directly train your arms in ways that will support your bench press as much as possible. This doesn't mean doing, a million reps with your bicep curls and doing 1,000 tricep pushdowns after every workout. Your goal is to go in, do as much weight with as many reps as you can handle, and slowly, progressively get stronger with it. If you're just going in and you're trying to get a pump, it's not going to transfer over as much to your bench press, unfortunately. You want to train your triceps especially in a way that's going to transfer over to your actual bench press. So for those that are trying to build a bigger bench press, here's what you want to do. For biceps, we want to stick to the 8 to 20 rep range, just like the back. But here's the kicker. We want to make sure that we're using big movements like barbell curls and even hammer curls. And the reason for this is pretty simple. Those allow you to use the most weight. You don't need to be messing with cables and all that other stuff. Just work on getting stronger at these two movements specifically and see what happens. The bigger your biceps are, the more support you're going to have at the elbow joint. This is very important when benching heavy weights. If your biceps aren't very strong and your triceps are doing all the supporting with your shoulder, you're not going to be able to bench a lot. So try to build up your biceps. It's actually very important for supporting the elbow while benching. For the triceps, we want to focus in the 5 to 10 rep range and the 10 to 20 rep range. Here's what I mean. For the 5 to 10 rep range, we want to be working with the close grip bench press. The close grip bench press is any type of benching that is closer than your regular grip. So if you bench, out here, right, then anywhere inside of that is going to be your close grip. You don't want to be super close right here because then it kind of reduces your range of motion, but anywhere that's right around here is going to be good. And your main goal when you're doing this is not to let the elbows, kind of flare out like they do in a regular bench press, but actually to come in and you're trying to press it up in a straight line. As for the other movement, for the 10 to 20 rep range, things like dips, where you're able to add weight over time and progress on it, that's what you want to be doing. Tricep pushdowns and things like that are great for building, some size for them, but for actually transferring over to the bench press, it's more important, if you're trying to build it up quickly, to use movements that are going to train, the shoulders, the triceps, the chest, all at the same time. So things like the close grip bench press and dips are going to fit the bill perfectly. And the reason we want to be focusing on the 5 to 10 and the 10 to 20 rep ranges for those movements is simply because we want to maximize the muscular and strength development we can for those muscle groups. The triceps are primarily a fast twitch muscle fiber, meaning that those lower rep sets of 5 to 10 are going to, cover a lot of the, the muscularity of the triceps. But you also want to be doing some higher rep sets of 10 to 20, obviously while increasing the weight. So just doing like 1,000,000 push-ups, not the best. Like if you're starting out, it's going to be fine to start that. You're going to be able to progress on it very easily. But over time, it's going to be very hard to load it up, unfortunately. So unless you have like a weight vest or something, I would stick to things like dips and close grip bench press. If you have other movements that you've used in the past that help you get stronger triceps, that you notice transfers over to your bench press, then that's fine too. Definitely just find what works for you the best. But these are the two movements that I recommend. And for my final tip, we're going to be going over proper bar path and form. For those that don't know, proper bar path in the bench press is very easy to figure out. A lot of people are doing it incorrectly, unfortunately. When you see people at the gym, they plop down on the bench, and when they bench, their shoulders are out here, right? Their elbows are traveling out here. It puts a lot of stress on the shoulders, and because they have that flat back, the back isn't properly supported, the scapula isn't retracted, so it puts a ton of strain on your shoulders. And when I'm right here, I can only get my hands back here. I can't even touch my chest if I'm up here. So when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're doing it properly. And what I mean by that is tucking the elbows and touching lower. So when I mean tucking the elbows, instead of starting up here and traveling backwards like that, you want to think about traveling down in an arc, and you're touching down on the highest point of your chest. So when you're getting set up for a bench, you want to think about getting on the bench, sitting your shoulder blades back, getting your traps back up into the bench, and then you're trying to arch your upper back just enough to get your chest up and to get your upper back properly positioned on the bench. From here, grab the bar, and when you're going to lower the weight, you want to make sure that you're lowering in an arc. So you're going to be lowering down here, and you're pressing back up in an arc. Here's what this looks like. This is Jim Windler of 531, and as you can see, every single rep is precise. Every single rep, he's touching low, elbows are being tucked, and as he's pressing it back toward his face as opposed to pressing it up in a straight line. Every single rep should look like this. The other thing you want to pay attention to is actually pushing through your feet every rep. So when you're bench pressing, it's not just your upper body that's working. It's not just your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. You're trying to drive through your feet. This is called leg drive, and you should be doing it when you're trying to bench press big weights. What this is going to do is allow you to get extra power from your lower body to transfer to your upper body and directly to the bar. So with this, it's almost like you're squatting the weight up, and this is how every single big bench presser in the world benches. And there are my top 3 tips on building a big bench press. As you can see, some of these tips you might not have heard of. Some of you are going to get a lot out of this video, but for those that didn't, let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see in the future. And for those that did, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that you can use these tips to build a bigger bench press pretty quickly? Have you heard of these tips before? And is there anything else that you guys have done in the past to build bigger bench presses yourselves? Let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure to check out my website. I'll put the link for this article in the description below. And if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.